Hey guys, it's Graham. Welcome back to Truckerman Reads. I've got a week off from work. I'm going to be home. I'm not doing any traveling or anything. So I'm going to do a lot of videos this week out here in the shop with physical books, most of the time anyway, catching up on projects that I've been meaning to do for a while now. These two that I've got here are Necromancy the Musical and Necromancy the Callback, both by Debbie Hibbert. In the interest of full disclosure, she is a friend of mine. I've known her for a while now. Geez, we go all the way back to like 2009, but we stay in touch, and it's been cool to see her, finally land a contract with a small publisher for this story that she's passionate about. What's interesting about these ones is I recently read another book by a completely different author that revealed to me the existence of a heretofore unknown subgenre of YA, not necessarily romance, but fantasy. These ones are romance, the other one is fantasy. I'm going to have to dig up a digital picture of this other book, put it right there. It's called Through the Lichgate by Kyle Adams. The idea is that the protagonist is somebody who can raise the dead and is also involved in musicals at school. Very, very niche, but if you've ever looked at some of the micro categories on Amazon for different book rankings, apparently there's something for everything. Necromancy the Musical is about a girl named Cece. She's in the high school theater program. She also happens to have the ability to raise the dead. She lives in New Orleans. Her father is a detective. He deals with homicides and stuff. And, unlike a lot of, magical teen protagonist type books, this one not only skips the discovery journey, like Cece is well aware that she has these powers when the book starts, she's also not hiding it from her father. He's aware that she's got this, and she teams up with him to help him solve, murder cases that are difficult for him to take care of through conventional methods. There is a cost and a risk to her using her magic, and in the first book, the musical, she's being hounded by another magician that she can't identify who wants to harvest her powers for nefarious purposes. And since it is a girly teen romance, there's plenty of kissy stuff and reveals and all of that. There's a boy named Zach that she likes, and her best friend Portia also has a boy that she likes, and that stuff factors into the story. I read the odd romance here and there. I think it's good to kind of diversify your tastes a little bit, although I don't read as many as I used to. But, like I said, I declared my conflict of interest in that Debbie is a friend of mine, but this was an enjoyable read all the same. My rule is if I didn't like the book, I'm just not going to talk about it. That one came out in 2023. The Callback just came out this year. Debbie had a lot on her plate for the last little bit, so there was a bit of a gap year between these two. In this one, we're still in New Orleans. There's not a whole lot of globe-trotting or anything. The setting itself is a strong character. And now werewolves have entered the fray. Although it's Cajun werewolves, so there's what's called a rougarou. And I just finished that one the other day. It's a strong sequel. It gives you a lot of the same elements that you got in the first one. There's the romance, there's the magic, there's the mysticism and the intrigue. One element that gets a lot more play in the sequel is Cece's estrangement from her mother. Her mother's into the whole magical game, and there are hazards to navigate in that dynamic, in that relationship. Her parents are split up, but her mom is trying to crowbar her way back into her life, and there's a danger there that she's got to navigate. In addition to that, she's also got to deal with her boyfriend Zach fiddling around with necromancy in ways that he oughtn't. He's also familiar with magic. He knows how the whole bit works, but he starts dealing with what are effectively substance abuse issues when he starts meddling with necromancy to get more familiar with it, and she's got to kind of help him deal with an addiction. So, interesting way to interpret that kind of real world problem into a magical world. There's a lot of inventiveness in this, and it really executes on the kissy, girly, romantic side of things. Me being a middle-aged trucker, there's not as much for me to sink my teeth into on that part, but if you're into that genre and if you're in that target audience, definitely check these two out. They're written really well, and I think there's a lot for you to like. As for Through the Lichgate, the main character is a girl named Thana, and while she is involved in the theater at her school and she is able to do necromancy, she has to hide it from her family and from her friends and still perform in the school plays. It's not so much a musical in this one, just a regular theatrical production. I thought this one was fine. I put it in that category of books that like I enjoyed reading it at the time. I'd probably never seek it out again. I might give it 3.5 stars on the old star rating schedule. The audiobook was done really well. I will say that it's one of those that the female protagonist is written by a dude, and in very subtle ways you can tell. But this is probably coming off the fact that I had just read a female protagonist in a necromantic musical written by a woman, and there are little things that stand out along the way when you read that one. But Kyle Adams did a good job with this one. It's been out for a while. I think the audiobook is newer, but the book came out in like 2018. If you're looking something in that vein, definitely check either of these out. It's two slightly different treatments on a very, very similar concept, executed kind of in a different direction. The Kyle Adams book deals less with the romance and the relationship side of things than the Hibbert books. So depending on which one of those you're looking for, if you don't want to get so much into the romance and you want the necromantic mystique and intrigue and all of that stuff, check out Kyle Adams' book instead. On that note, I've got an Amazon affiliate link, and I'm also setting up an Audible affiliate link. And since the Kyle Adams books are on Audible, if you want to check those out, use my link. I'll get a piece of that action. I'm not seeking sponsors or anything on this channel, but I've been doing the affiliate program for a while, and that helps put a few extra nickels in my pocket so I can support my book habit that I've got here. That'll do it for now. Thanks for watching. Drive safe. See you out there.